live, folks. Back again. This is your host of Lit Literature, JP, aka The Demon, and you are here for part 2 of The Blinding Knife by Brent Weeks with the normal crew minus the cherry.
Everybody else.
Yeah. We stabbed the cherry with a weird-looking dagger. He looked really pale afterwards, and
But
then
dude,
just
it turned
passed
into
out.
a gun. It was awesome.
I
was like, dude, this is great.
We do have to bury him later, though. Is he okay? Yeah.
Anyway, folks, we are here to continue our discussion from earlier, which was awesome and intense. And I feel like we might kick this session off near where we left. I know we went all over the place.
I'm Brett, the director.
Yeah. Kick it off on Brett, the director.
I'm Ben Hitman.
All right. Where are we going to kick it off?
Thank you, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's all good, baby.
All right. Sometimes I get really excited, folks. But anyway, I was thinking that before we did anything else, we would talk about when Gavin comes back very briefly, and Karis says, "Oh, it would have been totally okay if you did sleep with the seer." And as we know, even if Karis was, it wouldn't have been, probably not for Karis. But if that did happen, it was Karis was the least of our worries. Because as it turns out, his best homeboy, Corbin Dallas.
Multipass.
General
Danovan.
Davos.
I almost said Davos. Captain Davos.
Half the people in this book,
Davos.
I just say as Game of Thrones characters.
Corbin
or
Danovan.
the Fifth Element.
Anyway, General Danovan. And
Danavos.
now Satrap Danovan turns out to fall in love and marry this girl, and it works out really badass for them. So that is the reason that we are very happy that didn't happen.
That's another one of my favorite lines is it's definitely strategic and had to be done, but it's nice when duty also aligns with desire.
Yeah. Super good.
Yeah, I was so happy for those two because
I know.
Like in the entire first book, it just feel like bad for Danovis.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he had his first wife and he loved her, and then his second wife,
assassinated.
So his daughter could have like a role model and understand womanhood.
Yeah.
And she died.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna.
I wonder if the first thing he said before he asked her to marry her is, "Do you die anytime soon? Can you just tell me that?"
Yeah.
That smells like a bread bet.
Yeah, I love this. And he was just like,
can you tell that I want a bread bet, but I can't make it? Only you guys can make it now.
Jeff's
it just has to be natural. I can't force it.
Jeff's like a corner drug dealer with Brett bets. Hey man,
you want
some Brett bets? I got some.
I do, bro. No, I want you guys to make bread bets. It's fun, and I can't make them this book, not till later.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that was just really cool, and I actually really like the seer, and I love, even though in book 2 we barely got any of the seer and any of Danovan. Fuck.
The general.
Davos. Danovan.
Dude, I had it is Corbin Danovan. Whatever. Anyway,
that's not it.
Damn it! I can't. I had this goddamn name down. And
that is why I'm here.
It's like, dude, it's gone now.
That's why you guys have me.
Yeah, but I like both of those characters a ton, and that makes me worried for him because of Liv's path. But it is what it is, man.
We still cannot close that Brett bet, but it's looking worse and worse for Liv. I don't like the fact, like, I was starting to get a little bit of optimism for Liv when she started, like, saying, like, oh, what's his name? What's the guy that tried to kill Gavin with the
Zyman.
Zyman. So, like, I was starting to feel a little bit more optimistic for her when she was like, oh, this dude's actually, like, when he touches me, I don't feel good anymore. Like, I feel like he's a creep.
I know. Like,
she was starting to dislike
to
him and coming around, but now, like, there's a part of me that's almost worried that not only is she going to turn into this god, but that she's going to be somehow romantically linked to the prince, the Omnichrome.
She does
prince
have
or
kind
something.
of a weird infatuation with him.
Yeah.
Even when he's just like, he corked his smile, which is all burns, and she's like, I don't even see those anymore.
I think there's a really big correlation with the color prince and Gavin.
Yeah.
With her, like Gavin's this larger than life character.
Yeah.
Semi-god. Like, he's not a god, but the things he can accomplish is ridiculous, and she's seen some of it.
Yeah.
And now she's on the other side, and she sees the color prince do the same type of things.
Yeah.
And she has that infatuation. he treats her like an adult. Her opinion matters.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has like a lot of the qualities that people would find attractive. You know, people like skill and power and stuff like that.
He shows a lot of qualities with Gavin. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I hated that. I mean, I love the scene. I hated, like, if I'm thinking from the character perspective of the observer, the moment when there was like, you're right, he treats me like adult, and my dad doesn't treat me like anything. And the only thing that I can think of is like, that's how much of a child you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that was by intent, and that's how it always is when you see those guys who manipulate young people into doing their
Make them
will.
feel
make them feel like you're.
She's like 17,
Yeah.
18?
Yeah.
No, she's like 2 years older than kids,
17.
so 17.
Yeah.
So
by now she might be 18. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's been months and months because like we don't have a birthday yet. We didn't read about a birthday, but I mean, from the point that Gavin leaves the ship in book 1 to the first time that he even gets back, not the second time he gets back, the first time he gets back, it's been 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So you're looking at least a half a year.
Yeah.
And like when you're 18, 17, you feel like an adult.
Yeah.
Because you have freedom to do stuff you never had before.
Yeah.
And then it's just you're just not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, the strange thing is that I think society generally has two things that are conflicting but correct.
Yeah.
One is that 18-year-olds aren't adults, and like I feel like society both treats young adults younger than they should treat them, but also doesn't realize that they're still too young to do anything.
Yeah.
It's like they're conflicting, but it's like I don't know. It's super weird because like you think back like in places with like real hardships, like times or places with real hardships, kids can be very adult-like.
Yeah.
And they grow up super quick and they can mature super quick. But even in those times, they're still kids and don't have experience and can do stupid stuff because of their youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like weird. You're like in this place of both being an adult, but not really knowing what you're talking about. It's super weird.
Exactly, see that because the adults would be like, they'll at one moment be like, be an adult, why are you acting like a kid right now? Mm-hmm. And in the second moment, they'll be talking to other adults and like, you're just a kid, get away from me.
Right.
I'm talking adult stuff here.
Exactly.
And they can't like make up their mind
Right.
how they want to treat them.
So interesting.
I think it's also very uncomfortable for us as adults to imagine people that age, even though they are, having having sexual desire already. Like, it's weird for us because it's like, oh, they're kids, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that also plays into it because you see them as a kid, you treat them as a kid, and then all of a sudden there's this guy now and he looks at you like a woman and stuff like that, and that could be very appealing to Liv, you know?
Which it is. And even in her monologue, she's like, I just really like that he's giving me all this attention. I don't even like him that much. Right. She even says that.
Yeah.
The other thing that's dangerous is that you see in the color prints is that they rely on their colors so much.
Yeah.
And even Liv is falling into that trap. She's drafting all the time. And then suddenly she feels almost like, oh, it's weird that I'm drafting. Suddenly I'm drafting all the time to like change my personality. And it reminded me a lot of what you would think of as a drug.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I definitely saw that. I thought it was the young artist in the first book.
Yeah.
Who just got addicted to it, and he was like 22, and he's gonna break his halo.
Yeah.
And then there's Liv, who just started all the time drafting, like to remain calm and collected because she was so off balance all the time.
Yeah.
And then she just does it without even realizing she was drafting to feel that calm.
Yeah. I'm getting now that we're talking about it, I didn't really make this correlation while I was reading it, but now that we're talking about it, I'm getting real like Charles Manson vibes now.
Oh, from that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, he's all like, you know, man, why should they have control over our bodies, man? You know, it's like
let us
free
we
love.
have the choice.
You know, it's like this,
by the way, the choice means that I have control.
Yeah, it's like this free love, free thinking hippie, but psychopath.
So this is obviously the second time I've read this book, and I get creeped out by that guy even more than the first time I read it. I'm like, super creepy. And then when I'm reading Liv's, I don't remember. I remember thinking the first time, like, oh, you know, poor Liv, she's going to go down this path and learn the hard way. And also, it's a great story element, and I wasn't there about it. Second time I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, she's so fucked. She's eating it up.
I have to say,
oh my God.
How old were you when you read it the first time? Ish. Over 20?
29.
You think so?
Yeah. Okay. So I'd be willing to bet, and I'd be interested for if any of our listeners are pretty young. I'd be interested if there's any truth to this. But I'm curious if younger, more or less experienced people actually are quite enticed by
the Color Prince.
The Colored Prince's stance on things.
Like
if you don't understand and haven't seen exactly how people use these tools to manipulate people, I wonder if there's anybody that's actually like, oh man, Color Prince may be like where it's at, you know? I mean, he may end up being, I have no idea, but to me, it just reeks of manipulation and power grabbing.
It reeks of it.
Yeah.
Actually, the one thing that was really interesting, I remember the first time I was reading it, I was like, oh man, Kip's got it right. And then Liv's going through this whole thing, and I'm like, well, maybe he's not quite as wrong as... I mean, maybe Kip's the extreme and Liv's the extreme, and there's just two extremes. I'm reading it again, and I'm like, holy shit, Kip got it exactly right. Mm-hmm. And he immediately goes, how can Liv even believe this bullshit coming out of this guy's mouth?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that Kip might be right on some of the other things. He might be wrong on some of the other things. Color Prince might be right. But Kip senses innately all of the manipulations that this guy uses.
But like I said last episode, I think it's almost impossible to entice and manipulate people with all lies. Yep. Like everything you have to have something in there that people are like, I've been thinking that too. Yep. That feels true. Exactly. You know?
Exactly. Really interesting. I'm excited because we are going to have just a great time reading and actually 2 books out, and I hardly remember them, so I'm going to have a great time rereading these. And then the one book, the final book we get to read together, it's going to be freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. Super pumped. So,
I'm excited, really excited for the last one, just because I get the same feeling as when we were doing Oathbringer or Lightbringer. Oathbringer? Mm-hmm. Oathbringer.
You're thinking about this series
because all of us get to experience it for the first time.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Like I know I'm experiencing this for the first time, and Ben is also. But you and Josh, you know, I'm excited to get to that point where we're all on the same page. Yeah, it's just like, let's do it.
We had awesome. Manny and Andrew were the first times too.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they're like,
let's just Manny's in love with it. Like he couldn't even stop reading. He finished before all of us.
I actually feel kind of bad for Manny because like he finished it really early. Yeah, he did. And for the past like week and a half, he's been like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. And then now today he can't be here.
We're talking about it anyway.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump back in and change this up a little bit.
Cool.
Let's talk about Kip and the beginning of his great schooling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to bring this up because I absolutely fucking love the scene. First day of school, bring him to the line. Kip, whoever you challenge, you take their place in line. So he leaves. And they explain the whole, like, the last tier gets bumped out of the Black Guard. And Kip is like, fuck it, I'm going to go for number 2. Or what was it?
He picked number 1.
Oh, yeah. No. That was second, I thought.
Nope.
Oh, first? Yeah, right. He goes, screw it, number 1. Crooksor beats the shit out of him, and then he's like, fine, number 2. Right?
Yeah.
Did he do that? Yeah, oh my god.
Because Iron Fist, it's like, challenge around 10, 11.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting kicked out, and you get some more experience, blah, blah, blah. And Kip's like, that sounds good, alright. And he got there and was like, fuck, it's just a beating. I'll take number 1.
So, this is one thing I want to talk about is like, no matter how much inner monologue you get of Kip, the more that you read about Kip and then Gavin, you realize how related they are.
Yeah.
It's like, Kip is so Kip, and he's not directly related to Gavin or anything, but there's just enough similarities in the way that they think, or it's just the mouth, or whatever it is, and it's just this innate thing that
Yeah.
Kip can't seem to control.
I also have to say that now this is just me speculating because obviously I'm not a Bezos or an Elon Musk, but I'd be willing to bet that there's more successful Kips in the world than there are mega confident, always know what to do Gavins. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people just do a really good job of hiding the fact that they feel like I might not be able to do this, but they keep going anyway. Yeah. And Kip keeps going anyway, even though he thinks he's useless. Even though he thinks like, oh, all I do is this, and he keeps having these moments. And then sooner or later, as you work through it enough, eventually you start saying to yourself like, oh, I guess I can do this.
That's how I feel is that Gavin and Dyson felt the same way. They were 17 when they started the war.
Yeah.
17, 18.
Right.
And Dyson was like, fuck, I don't want this war. Let's send this messenger.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have peace.
Yeah, the Gavin we see now is cultivated, having gone through that as well.
Like
yeah,
30
that's a good point.
years of being in charge of just like dominating.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not.
But even
now.
that,
I think it's a big problem that I'm kind of bringing it back to real world now, getting out of the book. But I feel I feel like it's a big problem that a lot of people think is that like they look at these super successful people and they think I need to be that right now without having done it. It's like, oh, I want to be on top of that roof and I'm going to snap my fingers to be on the roof. They don't realize they have to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, the best thing about what you just said is something that we deal with all the time, even in my work, in my life, and whatever. The realization that I'll give you an example. Okay, I got to keep this not boring. Okay, I'll give you a real example. So, like, when you think about in the 1980s, people thought, holy shit, how's Toyota do this? They go over and they look at Toyota, the company. You guys know this, the cars, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is fake.
Yeah.
How they do this is fake. And then after they realize it wasn't fake, and I'm not going to go into the details because it doesn't fucking matter, but after they realize it wasn't fake, then they just try to copy it. And then realize that you can't copy that.
Yeah.
You can't copy it because you have to go through
the process
ladder of becoming that, because otherwise you're not that.
Right.
You can't be that unless you go through the ladder. And Kip, the best thing Gavin ever did was like put Kip in the Black Guard and just make him starting. He just knew. He's like, start to put him through this gauntlet. Yeah. Let him develop these realities. Really
I think it's really interesting also Gavin's whole relationship with Kip, because it's like he's someone that, I mean, this may change, but he's someone that's treating him exactly how you would expect a good father to treat him, but like he said, he's like, there's no love there.
Yeah.
It's super
God.
weird.
And the best thing is, you could tell when you read it. Mm-hmm. He's like, hi. Great job.
I know. He's almost like an AI that just like read a book on parenting. He's like, let's do the right thing. And it's just like, what is going on? And I'm super curious to see, well, I'm super curious about a lot of things with Gavin right now, but one of the things I'm most curious about is to see if that progresses. Although, now that I think about it, we also have an answer to another Brett bet, because we do know that Kip cannot be... Although, did we make that a Brett bet or did we not?
We did make it a Brett bet. Yeah. But I also say that there's...
Can't be Karis's and Gavin's child.
Well, okay, so
or did we change it? Because I said it was new Gavin.
No, you're right. Yeah. So the thing is that the way
because
the bet
what's
is,
his name is, right?
It's off with a Z.
Yeah, the fucking psychopath guy.
I'm not... let's see here. I'll pull it up real quick. But the way that I was thinking about it is, all we have is words, though. We don't have any...
That's true. We don't have any confirmation.
Yeah,
and we're not going to pay up on these until the series is done anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, technically, it's a book, so all we're going to have is words.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the great quote about, like, what was it? It's like, it was when I was at the George R. R. Martin event. He was
Is
like...
Kip's mother Karis?
Yeah. So we had that Brett bet in there. And I remember George R. was like, no. It was something like that. It was like, who's Jon Snow's real mother? And then George R. was like, nobody is. Because I made him up. And I was laughing so hard. But because he was joking about it, because he's making a point, like how invested we get.
Yeah.
So we'll find out that stuff. And I think it's a great bet.
Yeah.
It seems now, based on what we know, very, very clearly, that Andross knew about Zyman,
Yeah.
and he requested Zyman, and it's pretty clear that Zyman, White Oak, knows that who he is. You know?
Yeah.
And I certainly would not doubt beyond any belief whatsoever that he's not related to Gavin. I mean, that he is definitely related to Gavin.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? I don't doubt. Anyway, don't.
Yeah.
What I mean is...
Do you think he's related to Gavin or not? Yes
think
or
he
no?
is,
You
yeah.
think he is? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a giant douchebag.
Yeah. Oh, you think he's related to real Gavin?
Prison Gavin.
Oh.
That Prison Gavin,
Like
Is
Kara's
Kara's.
rapist Gavin.
Right.
That's right.
Karis, and that's
right.
their son.
That's right.
I just can't see... I mean, maybe I could be turned wrong, but I just think...
I
Jesus
think it is.
Oh, shit. So if all of that is correct, then the two dudes on the boat are half brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I called him brother at the end.
Oh,
knew.
yeah.
Even Zyman already knew because he was corresponding with Andross Guile.
Yeah.
You know what the
yeah.
worst thing is? That
Wait,
Andross...
so did Andross send him to assassinate Gavin?
No,
No,
Color
right?
Prince.
Color
It was
Prince.
that was the
But
color
what
prince
the
for sure, yeah.
Andross... Well, what we find out at the end...
So
which-
Andross got to him after that
Bless
scene.
you.
He got to him in the second book at some point,
in the
most
second
likely.
book, yeah.
Well, that, and he was also corresponding with the Color Prince.
So, in case you didn't catch this,
I didn't
Kip
catch that.
touches a
Yes.
card. A hooded man with what was it? It was like a hooded man with whatever something, and he
it's like a
touches
letter.
it, and he sensed through the card, which we're going to talk about next for sure because we have to based on the way this conversation's going.
Yeah.
But basically, he sensed a guy writing a letter to a friend in the Color Prince's army or to the Color
Well,
Prince. So,
he didn't know who it was. There was some words.
writing about turning into the Red God.
And whatever the Color Prince's real name is, he only saw the last half of his name.
Yep.
And it's the same as his real name. And then the book, Kip realizes that it was Andrew Guile. It's like, you're writing to the Color Prince. You're
That's right,
Red
Captain,
right
you
now.
evil bastard.
And
That's why Kip went on that whole tear. He's like, "You're a color white. I know what you've been doing."
Oh, that's why.
'Cause he
I thought he
realized
just freaked
it.
out because he was a fucking hypocrite pretending to believe in all of this chromaria shit.
No, he was
realized
part of it.
He
but-
saw this in the dream,
Yeah.
or the vision
card,
of the
yeah.
card,
Oh.
and that he realized that it was Andrew Guile.
All right, that makes a lot more sense why he freaked out now.
So check it out. So let's talk about this, but first,
I don't know how I missed
let's set
that.
up the context and then let's go right into this.
Okay.
So we were talking about Kip back at school. We ought to talk about Tier and how he does this, but let's get into this fucking card game and the cards and Janice Boros.
Talking about magic together.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
exactly. And actually, at the end of the book, Brent Weeks says that
know.
he appreciated a buddy of his getting into Magic of the Gathering. And then he said, I enjoyed it so much that I wrote a totally different game. This is game. And by the way, he also said that there will probably be a card game that comes out.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. He said,
Nine
and
Kings, right?
don't
Yeah.
ask me now. It'll be a long time, but it will come. But essentially, Nine Kings was inspired by, in some sense, Magic the Gathering. And the fun thing about this is how he baked it into the storyline was so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So he's playing Andross Guile because Andross just wants to fuck him up for no reason at all. By the way, Andross Guile, this fucking asshole. So he's testing Kip keeps passing tests, and then he sends for Zyman, not for any other reason besides just to spite Kip. Like, he's so spiteful, he won't even raise the right person to take over their fucking family. But anyway, that's a different defeat. But what'd you guys think of
Why
that?
do you think he prefers Zyman? He's also a bastard.
Oh, he only prefers Zyman because Kip is infuriatingly too equal.
I always say Kip's just too fat.
Too fat. Yeah,
Probably.
Maybe the only reason.
I would not put it past him.
He's
to be
such
that
a
fucking
piece of
shallow.
shit.
I'm like,
yeah,
fatty.
Yeah.
What can you do? Get out.
yeah. You don't
But
embody what the Guile
but
should
also-
embody.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, he kept, like, every test that Andross Guile put in front of him, he kept
Passing.
exceeding those
Yeah.
expectations.
But I also think Andrew Guile only knows him as a bichrome. And in reality, he's a 7 chrome.
That's
body
not a
now.
secret anymore by partway through the book, though.
Right.
By the end of the black test,
He lets it know at the testing. Yeah.
He knows at the testing. So, assuming those 4 guys tell him that
he knows everything in that sense. Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it comes out, he knows it.
But he didn't know it before that.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying, like,
we don't
maybe
know
he
that he
know,
knew it before that.
and there's correspondence going on, and the only way he would know, I'm assuming the only spies he had were the 4 trainees.
I'll argue
who he's
that
trying
point,
to
though,
block.
because
In the block Kip from passing.
Right.
I'll argue that point though because Andross Guile expected him to draft Ultraviolet when he came into his room, and Kip felt like an idiot before he realized he needs to draft Ultraviolet to see the ultraviolet torches in Andross Guile's room when he was
That's
first
true.
playing cards games.
The first time, yeah.
That's true.
He brought in a...
Andross Guile already knew and expected him to be more than a Bichrome. That's just my thought. I mean, maybe I missed it, but my personal opinion was Andross Guile basically expected him to be more than that. And then the entire time, he was feeding that. However, I could be wrong. I don't know.
It could have also just been a test.
Maybe.
Maybe he was seeing if he was.
Well,
does
everything
allow-
Andross Guile did was a test, and that's why I was so pissed at Kip sometimes, because we just feed that asshole information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he could have just brought it out. Like,
Yeah.
here's a lantern.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell him anything about it. And it's like, you can see, or you can't. And he could.
Now
That's
he
why
knows.
now he knows.
Yeah. It's how clever that guy is.
So I'm a little curious about Nine Kings, and I think it's really, really convenient that like this really widespread, famous card game also has cards in it that can take down civilizations. And
Only
take
the
down-
originals.
Right.
Yeah.
But so do you think that the card game was like created almost as a diversion to like make it so that people don't know if there's like real cards or fake cards? It's like they saw that as like, wow, these cards are too powerful. Like, do you think the cards came first, or do you think the game came first?
I think...
Like, why do the mirrors make these cards?
I think
Why
the
they
mirrors
made them?
painted, and then the card origination may have started, and then so they would paint them in the card format because of the popularity of the game.
Okay.
I don't know. Like,
So
I
it
feel like,
eventually morphed. They used to do it with pictures, you think?
I think it
Paintings.
was more like if I was a mirror, I would draw something.
Yeah.
And if you could draft, you would essentially completely live the essence of the person that I painted. But I think that turned into a card game over
well,
time.
I think like the mirrors, just like the prisms, like they could just balance naturally.
Right.
The
Oh,
colors.
maybe they're balancing life.
And then they have these like visions of people when they get in touch with them. They get these visions and they just have to draw them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just know like you add these gems and whatnot. It's nothing they learn. It's just like natural for them.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's something they learn for sure.
And then, for what's her name,
Janice.
like she's been in contact and she's just making these new decks, and that's like her life's work. Like the Prism's life work is to balance the colors. She's just make history of these cards.
Well, they said that as Amir makes new cards, every like 20, 30 years or so over, they leak the new copies of the new cards out in new decks that you can buy.
Yeah.
And then those decks change the game as you're playing it because there's new realities.
And I feel
in the
like
game.
they just add them in, and eventually the Chromium realize like we can't have this Andrew Giles card in here.
Yeah.
He's now a black card, and like the original cards, it is sort of history for the people who can do it, and they just cut it all down, just like they did with the color whites.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, some of these go crazy. All of them are
Cut
dead
them off. Yeah.
right now.
Coolest thing was Andrew Guile when he freaked out when he's like, "Oh, you've seen the original,"
Yeah.
and then he's like, "The original, the last original I was in was 30 years ago, and it wouldn't only be able to get my mind set up until that point."
Yeah.
But little did we know. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I love that game. It was really fun. It was also really fun to watch Kip train for it because he got his ass beat because that wasn't fair at all. First of all, Andross Guile is essentially a professional player.
Yeah.
Remember, the best was the white talked about her ex-husband, or not her ex-husband, her deceased husband.
Deceased, yeah.
And how he was as good as maybe Andross Guile, but he never tested it because he wasn't stupid enough to play that game. But he played just to see how people would react, and they did all this thing. But they set up this whole thing about Andross Guile being a brutal, phenomenal player.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Kip's in there playing a game against this essentially professional card game guy. Losing, obviously. But then the amount of effort he put in, because when Andross Guile told him the stakes, which I feel so bad about, he's like, your stakes were we eradicated the one person you might have made a friend.
Yeah.
Her entire life's jacked. And
He's such an asshole.
and then he's such an evil prick. He just shits on people so hard. And then he said
I love the description of when this is a little off, but towards the end when he was like making his apology, and Kip was like, you can't just kill people because they're inconvenient to you. And I love the description of him tilting his head like a dog that didn't understand what was going on. Why? It's like, it was such a good description.
Dude, it's so bad. And it's his attitude. And the sad thing about it is, like, Kip was like, he kept judging Kip how fat he was and how this and how he would act this way. And Kip would think, like, this is how much you think of me.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you think... But the sad thing is that Andross Guile might have thought higher of him if he was more, like... normal about that or something, but
that reminds me, like when we read that, then he exiled his acquaintance. I thought that was gonna come back, but never did. She's just gone.
No, she got exiled, man.
She's just
probably
gone.
a farm. Actually, it might be better for her in the long run.
Probably.
Who knows? It could be bad too. You know, it might have fucked the whole family's. But if you're watching, if you're listening to only the podcast version, just record
sounds bad.
No, but like they showed like half her family cows for her to go to the.
Yeah, they gave
up
like half
they basically gave up like all their wealth.
Yeah, it's really messed, man. But I do love the card game.
But the strange thing is that later, him being so nonchalant about people's lives ends up like being, because Kip's able to best him.
Yeah,
ends up being very beneficial to another girl.
It does.
You know,
Tia, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, that card sequence was amazing. He just snuck it in.
Yeah,
like his black deck.
Yeah.
Well,
I love how later I don't believe it for a second. I love how later he tries to play it off as like, did I lose? It's just like basically
I'm
like
trying to
like let it. He's like trying to plant the seed that like somehow he was cultivating him and making him go down the path. Dude, no way.
That's how Manny, if Manny was here, would be like petty. But the reality is that Andross Guile was actually caught cheating once.
Yeah,
by his son.
Yeah, and that one time he was like super livid. But like the thing is that he's that much of a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And then later you see this when Gavin goes like this. Oh great, my father's Supramarcus. He's in charge of the general. He's like, this meeting's pointless. You guys are all stupid. I'm gonna go try to win us the war. And he just leaves. He's like, as smart as my father is, he's so smart he thinks he can do everything better, but he is not good here.
Yeah.
He's just not. He can't do it. This isn't a card game, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
This is why the gut of Danavis was a better general than anyone else. And because Gavin, aka Dazen, had a great relationship with Danavis, he learned that. He learned the importance of, like, in real war with people, it doesn't work like statistics in cards.
He learned to rely on their knowledge and just like, oh, that's what I think. I'll do that then.
Right.
Instead of doing something else. And he won battles like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about Janice Boros because we're getting into the deep of the cards. So Janice Boros the Mirror, the librarian of all people.
Yeah.
Helping Kip hang out. By the way, I was going to fucking murder Kip when he not only went to the Lost and Found to get his knife. He went to the Lost and Found to get the blinding knife.
Yeah.
But he also told who did he tell about the librarian? Was it
Told
Gavin?
Andross, didn't he?
No.
He told somebody the librarian's name, and I'm just like,
maybe it was Gavin.
Dude, do not.
Gavin or Hightower? Not Hightower.
No. Yeah, it was Black Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
It was
Yeah.
Iron Fist, yeah.
And he goes, I'll look into it. And I'm just
Hightower.
like,
You were close, Ben.
dude,
You guys love Hightower.
don't. The people that help you, dude, you gotta be so careful about this because there are so many dynamics. Even though Iron Fist is awesome,
That was the scene where I really started really liking Iron Fist.
oh, I know.
I always liked him.
Because
I never
Iron
disliked
Fist
him.
literally goes like, by the way, Kip, you shouldn't have told me any of this shit,
Yeah.
you dumbass.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh my god.
because I know, right? It's like, oh, dude, you almost just like gave up like two mysterious Infinity Cloaks, the Blinding Knife, all of the most rare political cards on the planet, and he's like, I mean, thank God you trusted Iron Fist, but
I mean,
I
Dude,
loved
what are
that
you
moment
thinking?
though where he came out and he's just like, because I didn't really know, like I thought it was cool going to see the like card maker, the mirror, but like it really didn't hit me the significance of that scene until Iron Fist was like, she's real. He was like surprised that like she was still alive or that she wasn't.
she was
just
here.
a myth.
They all thought it was crazy that she was hiding right under their
Yeah.
noses.
It's just.
but he went to Iron Fist, and I was like, you came to me, you think I'm trustworthy? And he had to make a choice because Kip, he has no resources.
Yeah.
He has nobody.
Yeah.
And he made a choice, and he put his life in Iron Fist's hands.
I also do agree with Iron Fist, though, that I think he pegged it perfectly. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, because basically what he said is, you're like searching for this father figure, and you're putting trust in people you don't really know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's probably spot on.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know?
It's true.
And
But,
in the absence of Gavin, he went to the next one.
but even when he had Gavin, he never told him about the knife.
That's true. That's true.
And I thought he got all this stuff, the cloaks, the cards, the knife.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is way beyond me, and I need to trust somebody.
Well,
And
he had a
made
great
the right
statement.
choice.
He's like, if I can't trust anybody, then what am I going to do? Like, a man at some point needs to have some trust in somebody. And I thought that was a great statement, but it also came from a position of not really knowing much about the world.
I mean, that's true.
But the statement he said is honestly true, though.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to freaking trust somebody because you're not going to be able to do everything.
I mean, for normal people, they're not going to acquire a blinding knife and two silk cloaks.
Yeah.
And like
That's
these
true.
cards that are worth a satrap.
Yeah.
I mean, an entire kingdom, one card is worth.
I maybe would have went up to him with the cloaks maybe first.
And
Just kind of.
So that
Felt
was
it out,
crazy.
you
He
know?
gets in there. He's like, he just dumps it all on the
All
bed
on
and
the
goes to
fucking
visit Andross Guile. And I'm just like, first off, what are you doing? I'm like, you just left the blinding knife, 2 of the cloaks, and the entire deck of cards on Iron Fist's bed. And listen, I love that guy, but what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
don't look in that room.
Oh, dude, I was just like, he let the moment get to him.
No,
And then he gave Andross Guile so much information.
He did. Yeah.
That part was disheartening, in my opinion. But at the same time, it was a lesson hard learned, which maybe he needed to learn at that point.
He does. Like, I don't blame him for leaving the room.
Yeah.
I blame him for going to confront Andross Guile. Like, what are you gonna do? Just yell at him? And
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Exactly. And also, I was kind of like, dude, be honest. Why do you really think it's Andross Guile? He's the only bad guy you know. You just immediately pinned the assassination of Janos Boros on the only bad guy you know. I was kind of like,
shit! I stubbed my toe. Andross. He just goes stomping
Yeah, I
over.
was kind of like, come on, dude. Like, she's obviously such a big political player.
Yeah.
I'm like, it showed to me what it was designed to show, which is that Kip's still a kid. Mm-hmm. And that he immediately blamed, and Andross said it, He's like, you immediately blame that on me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only asshole you know?
Yeah.
Like, the world's way bigger than this, buddy.
And it sucks because, like, as a reader, you felt like that was a real possibility when you read it.
Yeah.
Because, like, how Andross Guile handled that loss,
Yeah.
he was freaking out.
He was.
He was freaking out.
And then you find out later that he goes there and the card maker dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he kills people, he has assassins. And we found out later that he tried to kill Kip. And he sets up those people to stop him from being a Black Guard. So that's within reason.
Yeah.
The best scene ever was when Andross was like, I hired that large lady to try to throw you over the balcony.
Yeah.
And he's laughing about it. And he's like, I need to thank you, Kip. You gave me a meaning again when I was basically trying to screw your life up in every way possible. But I love that whole scene because Kip's like, and then you paid that lady to shoot me. And then he's like, somebody tried to shoot you? And then he was like, why would I pay the entire Black Guard to block you from entry if I thought you were going to be dead?
Yeah.
He's like, I only mess up maybe once, little guy. I love that entire scene because it's basically kind of true. It also showed a little bit of the childhood blindness that Kip has a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Well, to me,
saying...
it makes sense, though, potentially, because it's like, well, if his first assassin failed, might as well have a backup plan this time.
That's what Kip was thinking.
Yeah.
But he's like, I tried to kill you once, and it ended up not working.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again unless I really want you dead.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those things. Who knows? So, Andross gets defeated with the copy deck. How awesome was that scene, too, when she's, like, drawing real cards for him? And he's like, can't you just give me a copy deck?
I know.
I don't want any of these
She's
cards.
like, that thought never occurred to me.
Yeah, she just wants to draw real cards. So Gavin returns to the Chromeria. And he returns in the scene we're talking about right now. But Kip murders, which we should briefly discuss real quick, with the blinding knife by accident. Well, actually, he doesn't murder them with the blinding knife. He murders them in other ways. But he meets the assassins, true assassins of the Broken Eye.
Yeah.
Not the lady who tried to throw him over the balcony. She wasn't a real Broken Eye assassin.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, Andross said that he hired her.
Yeah.
But you couldn't hire a Broken Eye assassin?
Maybe.
I feel like well, maybe not. I was about to say I feel like the Broken Eye would do a better job, but they didn't.
I guess that's
so
yet
maybe
to
not.
be.
Yeah.
The
I
elite
personally
of the
think-
Broken Eye had the 10 shimmer cloths.
Yeah.
Cloaks.
Yeah,
And then the others, I'm assuming, like, if they get good enough, they can take the spots.
I think it's what Iron Fist said and several other groups said. That, like, because the Broken Eye got so famous, there was a lot of people using the Broken Eye as, like, their name. Like, oh, yeah, we're the Broken Eye. Hire us.
The thing is, he says that, and I feel like they might have destroyed the majority, but there was always a head they never destroyed of the Broken Eye. Even when he said that in the first book. And I like, you destroy them, but they keep coming back.
Yeah.
With the same name, the same purpose.
Yeah.
And now they have these shimmer cloaks.
But yeah, I think the Shimmer Cloaks is the biggest.
It's been there the whole time, and they just...
Yeah.
It's going to be fun for us to, like, talk through this because there's so much in the dark still. It's like, I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, anyway, he meets real Broken Eye assassins and gets 2 Shimmer Cloaks, kills one, and the other one kills the other one when he accidentally shoots her in the head. But
like a true assassin.
Yeah.
Maybe they're running into a little bit of a Blackguard situation where they're putting people out with Shimmer Cloaks that don't deserve it.
Again and again, you get these little tidbits of how Kip could truly be amazing because it's just like when he was like, I'm gonna row. I'm not waking my dad up. I can do this whole way. And then he sees the guard on the dock, and then he just waves as they go by, and it confuses him because Kip's mind's working a certain way that other people's aren't. And just like when he was in this situation, even though the training didn't work the way that he wanted it to, like Amazing Fighter, his mind was like, well, that's down, so she can't slash me this way, and therefore that will work, and this will work. And he ends up being able to kill.
And even his partner says, "You're not a great fighter, Kip. You need to outsmart them."
Yeah.
You know, like she's the strategist, and she's like, "You need to start becoming that."
And I think he's a Guile through and through, because Gavin even says, like, I used to be really good with a sword when I was practicing all the time, but to be honest, I don't do it anymore. Now I fight dirty, and I outsmart people. And he does that all the time, and he fights how he... Yeah. And so it was really cool. But he ends up killing him, and, well, he thinks he kills him with the blinding dagger, but he ends up just absorbing green.
Yeah. And he absorbs it was a monochrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he took his power, and did he leave the knife there, or did they take it with him?
He left it. He went upstairs. They end up fighting, but then that guy comes back because it didn't really kill him. He shoots his partner, who he, at one point, might have raped. There's like a whole weird dynamic with the assassin partners. They had a strange relationship. But yeah, they essentially kills him. But the reason that he kills him the second time is because he thought he killed him, stabbing him with a knife.
Right.
And his body's laying there because he's shocked. As he goes up, he fights the girl. She gets shot by her own partner, who Kip thought he killed.
Right.
Yeah. And then Janice Boros is like, "You dear boy, grab the dagger, please." Why would I need the dagger?
No, that was after. After he killed him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "Oh, is he a draft? I'm too slow."
He couldn't draft
Except he couldn't draft.
Yeah.
And then Kip killed him.
Yep.
And then he heard Janice Borg, and he's like, "Oh, he's alive." And then grabbed the dagger and my snuff box.
Janice Borg was a great... Janice Borg, that character, was a great little cameo. For what we might not know, but a hint at so much bigger.
Yeah, especially at the end. When she's like,
"Yes!
I know who the Lightbringer is."
Yeah, what the...
I'm dead.
Yeah. Bitch, you couldn't have lived for like 10 more seconds?
Of course not. Oh my god. That's amazing.
Why didn't you just say a name and let me figure out the other part?
So that was insane. Obviously, Gavin comes back. So let's talk about this. Let's actually finish this episode talking about Gavin coming back.
Oh, Gavin!
Yes. So Gavin comes back, and... well, the first thing he does is make a ton of enemies, but win in the...
I also like how he just
council.
like comes back and he walks in and he's like behind Kip as
I
he's
know.
talking about a bunch
In
of shit he
Iron
doesn't
Fist,
want him to
like-
know. Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, you have Janice Boros really real cards?" I'm like, "God damn, why would she trust you with those?" Like, he's already knowing way more than most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's snuck in through the back door
Yeah.
of Iron Fist's room.
Yeah.
There's a person on the back door of Iron Fist's room.
Wonder what's going on between them that we don't know
Yeah,
about.
I know, right? So, but what Gavin does do is he gets the council to war. He beats his dad, and really actually has one of the satrap's colors sign the satrap away, lose her color position.
I love that.
No, that's,
Oh my god.
that was later.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm
that
talking
scene
about
was
now.
great.
Oh, yeah.
That's when he comes back. It's like after that stuff, but that's what he does when he's back. He goes. He basically goes to the war council and defeats his dad.
Yeah.
The first council his dad shows up to in probably 10 years. He's like wheeled in.
I just love when he sends the green out of the room and she just like lashes out at the guy and he's just like, "You think he doesn't have a plan?" She just like freaks out. I think it's been proven up to this point he has a plan.
That's really good. So, but he ends
so
up winning. He makes General Denovis a satrap.
Yeah.
And he knew that, and then he gets the supplies sent to them, but he makes enemies that time. Most of the people, remember, he's like saying, like, I could count on this vote, and I could count on this vote, and this vote.
Yeah.
And those votes no longer, he burnt it.
Well, the green,
burnt them all.
the green is gone and got replaced by the one who he kicked it out.
Mm-hmm.
But that hasn't been assigned yet. It will be replaced, but
only his
No,
father.
Replaced by Donovan.
No, I thought his fathers did.
Danovis is the satrap,
Yeah.
But there's not a color named yet.
Yeah.
But-
So, yeah. But anyway, there will be replaced by that person. But at this point, nobody's actually there to cast a vote.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that the green, who was 19,
Yes.
who got like... She got brought on by his father, Andross Guile. And Gavin says like, oh, she had the vote for the satrap that no longer really exists.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrion?
Taria.
Taria. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we're gonna absolve this satrap, like in this like hidden wooding.
Yeah.
And she voted for it, and so she's no longer a satrap. And then they voted for Gavin's boy, Corvin Dalvis, to be the new satrap.
Denivis.
And
Corbin
they
Dallas.
all agree to that.
Oh, we're so terrible, folks. I'm so sorry.
I'm
They-
not.
they-
I love it.
And that's
You're
what
right.
they
I'm
agreed to.
not sorry. This is fun.
But since he wasn't there, Gavin got his vote,
Right.
and that's how he passed all his stuff.
I know. He got it all passed. He defeated his dad. It was, but what he did though is he burned all his bridges doing it. Because at the end of that, remember the yellow and all these other people
No,
were
it
like,
wasn't-
"That's the last time you could count on my vote."
One of them said that, but the red sub-red still was under him because she super wanted war. She's with him, in
But she
some
was
way.
never on his side,
No.
only because she wanted war in this case.
Yeah, but he could count on a vote for that. But
Right.
Yes. Till he
once
threw her
killed
niece
his-
out the window, but that was
Yeah, once he killed his niece, that's like ooh, not so much. But at that point,
Actually, I got a Brett bet on that one.
Okay. Well, let's get to this in a second. So basically, though, he beats his dad. He eliminates Tyses, that's her name, the color, makes enemies his allies.
Yes.
Basically, all of them. But he gets what he needed to be done. Remember, he thinks, I've only got a year.
Yeah.
Now I've got to commit all of my 7 goals in 1 year.
1 year.
No, that's what he's thinking. But after that great victory, he finally has time to address his brother. Well, so what happened? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Right after this, he finally has time to address. Well, actually, what he does is something else. So let's actually talk about that because
Okay.
you have a Brett back to it. So after he deals with the war, he goes in and he meets 2 new Black Guards. He's complaining to them about how Jesus Christ, he hasn't had sex in 5 months. or 4
I feel
months.
you, brother.
And then he
Wow.
goes to bed.
Not really.
And is waking up in the dark, which he thinks might be Mauricia. He's like, it could be Mauricia. She's done this before. And
Yeah.
dear God, that lovely
But then he
woman,
smells the perfume.
yeah,
which smells like Karis.
Karis.
perfume.
It's the only time he's ever
Yeah.
smelled that scent. He thinks it's Karis.
Yeah.
because his original thought was Marcia, because she's done that before. She worked late, come back in, and take care
Again,
of business.
I just want to point out, any woman that wants to know how a man's mind works, this scene is a good example. Because I
Yeah.
feel like most women, not all women, but I feel like most women would be like, who's having sex with me? Let's stop and turn on the lights and find out. We're just like, all right, I don't want this to stop, but let's figure this out. How does this feel? Who might this be? All right, that's the perfume. I remember smelling that a long time ago.
Well, it's so good because the worst thing is like the author sets it up so perfectly because several chapters before, not just the chapter before, several chapters before, Gavin's mom had sent a letter to Karis.
Right.
Where she tells the whole truth.
She was
to
on her
Karis.
way. Yeah.
And she tells the whole truth to Karis, like the real truth that she already knows that Gavin's an idiot about and doesn't want to tell her, so to speak. And says like that stuff. She burns the letter and then she's like, I'm going to him because now I know exactly what I knew anyway, but instinctually, but she finally had the confirmation that she needed. So she decides she's going to get all prettied up and go for it.
Yeah. It's also, there's something about that. I mean, obviously you knew that they were in love, but there was something about that letter, about my like family's life, my son's life is in your hands now. I don't know. Like I feel like most mothers, especially when dealing with like, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm just being romantic about it, but I feel like because mothers are women, I feel like they have a sixth sense about what woman is going to be right for their son. Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, there was just something about that letter that I was just like, damn, you get that type of approval? Wow. She put his life in your hands. She trusts you that much, like that.
But I also think Gavin Guile's mother is like an average woman. Yeah. Like she could read currents like way ahead of time, have understandings and like implications. She had it all planned out. And then she wrote a letter. It wasn't just to get them together. It's manipulation. Yeah. That she's like, here, slide this in. Yeah. It'll ease everything in.
That's something that's amazing is because she had the foresight, and it's what she said to Gavin in the previous thing. You think you got all your brains from your father, you're a fool. Yeah. Like she was so good at what she did, she was able to be married to Andross Guile. Yeah. Survive and actually be loved by him, and also like navigate that ridiculousness that might have come from something like that. So, you know, that's impressive.
Well, I think that's the also kind of the benefit that some people have is that I think a person like Andross Guile needs to be smart, and he needs everyone to know that they're smart. And I think that she is a little bit less egotistical, and it's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna make sure shit happens. Yeah. You know, which is
and that's where Gavin actually, Days and Gavin got it, because he was like, you know what, my father's a general, you guys are dumb, I gotta go actually win this war. I don't need credit for it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go do it. And that's what his mother was doing behind the scenes the whole time, assassinating people, moving stones, like just totally unknown.
I do have to say that, like, at the end of that one chapter, when the white gave her blessing and said, go get him, and she just, like, took off and went, I was so happy. Yeah. And I quickly got destroyed. I quickly got crushed. Because I thought it was Karis also. Yeah. I was sitting there blind being like, she could have some fat there, sure. It smells like Karis, dude. Do it. It's Karis, man. That's amazing. Don't mess this up.
All right. I think we're gonna what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll finish this final, and we'll start with this.
We'll start with this because I got a Brett bet for this, so we'll start with this.
We'll start with this, and then what we'll do is we'll go to the end of the book and kill it. Cool. And then we're done. 3 parts, folks. For the blinding knife. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thanks again for joining us for this episode of Lit Literature. If you liked us, please check out our social media at Lit Literature 1 at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't hesitate to join in on the conversation. We appreciate the conversation, the questions, book recommendations, anything of that sort. Join in right on the social media websites. And don't forget to check us out at our website, litliterature.com, and our upcoming projects, though there aren't many now besides Lit Literature, you can find at lyket.net, Lyket. We do have a Patreon account, but if you truly want to support us, please like and share. Cheers.